Welcome back to Operation GameCube, the channel where I've been spending the last 14 episodes collecting the GameCube collection of my childhood for no money out of pocket, for reasons I detailed back in Chapter 1. And I'm walking to my mailbox because the, what would it be? The 18th of my games is sitting in there waiting for me to pick it up. Let's go grab that. And you see, I'm getting this from my mailbox because I have resorted to buying games online. Back in Chapter 14, I tried to close out my games list by buying games in the wild at game stores. I was somewhat successful, but couldn't find the last 3 games on my games list, so back to the internet to pick these 3 up. And hey, here's the first one. Now I have to wait for the others to arrive in the mail, but you, through the magic of video editing, do not. So let's cut to that. And here's the second one. And here's the third one. So let's take this and the other 2 games back downstairs to our favorite spot and open up the last 3 games on Operation GameCube. And here we are, back in my basement, for probably one final time. For you see those 3 games? I have unboxed them, but I've put them in this bag. I'm going to pull each one out, one at a time, talk about each one. If you've been following along, you'll know what those final 3 games are. But if you're new to this channel, let's have a little fun. Let's pull each of these final 3 games from our games list out of the bag, and let's reminisce a bit. The first one, it's Soul Calibur 2. This was a game that I loved as a kid. I'm not a huge fighting game aficionado by any means. Certainly played Mortal Kombats and Street Fighters and Tekken and you name it, I've probably tried it. But Soul Calibur 1 and 2 were probably the 2 fighting games in my kind of childhood era of gaming that I really got into. I just found this really approachable. I thought the character variety was great. They're all weapon-based fighters, but there's a ton of weapon variety. You get good at understanding the move sets. There's a lot of similarity in the button patterns, but there's enough diversity in what you can do and how you can approach fighting that I found it really interesting. I got into it a lot as a kid. I played this a lot with some friends. We got pretty competitive, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm excited to get this game. Like I said, I'm not a huge fighting game aficionado. I'm going to see what this is like to dive back into. Hopefully it holds up for me. I did look up how many Soul Calibur games had been released, because maybe this is just me, but this is a franchise that certainly has not elevated to the ranks of Mortal Kombat or even Street Fighter games that are continuing to come out, or even things like the Marvel vs. Capcom series. Those seem to have a larger following. There are like 14 Soul Calibur games. I'm surprised by that. Haven't had a release since, I think it was 2018. So, 5 years. Maybe another one's on the horizon. Haven't looked it up. But this one was a lot of fun. Love the inclusion of Link as well. Super cool. Clean copy. Not in great shape. You can see from these pictures. The disc could use a little love. But I got it pretty cheap. And it has the manual and its black label. So can't complain. Plays well. Excited to add this one to the list. All right, next game. Let's reach into that bag and see what we've got. Simpsons Road Rage. I love this game. Again, a childhood favorite. It's like there's a theme to this. I thought I saw this on the store shelves back in Chapter 14. It was hit and run, a great game, but not the game I wanted. This is Crazy Taxi. It's what it is. Crazy Taxi is a great game, but why not play it with Simpsons characters, especially if you're a Simpsons fan, and I certainly was growing up. This is a simple game. There's probably 5 or 6 maps, maybe a dozen characters to choose from. The gameplay is what it is. You drive around, you pick characters up, and you get them where they want to go as fast as you can. But it's a good driving game. The controls are really smooth and tight. You can absolutely get better at it the more you try and push your time and build more money up every run. I remember doing a lot of driving in this game as a kid, and I'm looking forward to playing it again. My main was Grandpa, for anyone out there who plays this game. Grandpa is both fast and narrow, so you can weave in and out of traffic. So Grandpa's the way to go. This was actually the first game that I bought on this challenge that didn't play when it arrived. If you see these pictures, super minty clean disc, that's because it's been resurfaced. So thank you to my local game store for offering that service for a hefty fee of $3.70. So had to pay $3.70 to get this resurfaced. Was kind of bummed that happened because it looked clean off of the eBay. Seller was very communicative. Everything was fine. So glad that got fixed. But yeah, first time I had to do that on this challenge, and I'm glad that it is working. And that's the 19th game on Operation GameCube, which means we have just one left. And if you, again, have been following along, you probably know what this one is. If you haven't, this is a good one to end on. Was not intentional that it was this late in the game that we are buying this game. It's a pricey one, but I'm very excited to be able to close out my games list with an absolute GameCube classic, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Now, I am a big Zelda fan. I'll be honest with you all. I have not played the modern Switch Zeldas, and I really, my Zelda experience ends with Twilight Princess on both the GameCube and Wii. But prior to that, and through all the way back to the NES and the original Zelda, I've pretty much played every Zelda game. So as a kid, I remember when this came out, really, really excited for it because it was coming obviously on the heels of both Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, which are two of the best games of all time, let alone Zelda games. This is not that game. I think, 12, 13-year-old Max was not super jazzed when this game came out. I think like most people, I was expecting another gritty Zelda game, another realistic but one step up in graphical horsepower since it was moving from the N64 to the GameCube, and instead we got a derpy, goofy cartoon Link. I mean, for everyone who's obviously familiar with the game, you know the art style. For those who are not, you can see right here on the manual, you can kind of get a sense of the art style. It's very much that cartoony, cel-shaded style of art. But even Link himself was just kind of dopey and goofy. The world was kind of goofy. Obviously, the shift to the water-based, just overmap, being all island-based and traveling via boat was just different and weird. I didn't hate it as a kid. I just didn't love it. I just wasn't wowed by it. I think I beat it, but I might be lying to you right now. I might have stopped midway through. Certainly gave it quite a bit of time. The world, though, over the last 20 years, has reflected very kindly on this game. It is now certainly considered one of the cult classics of, I can't call it a cult classic. It breaks the definition of cult classic. One of the classics of GameCube. One of the games people look back to on that system and say, wow, something special here. So I'm jazzed to get back into this game, where these two I have tremendously fond memories of. This one, not so much. So that's part of this challenge, is buying games that, I played 20 some odd years ago. Some good, some, Let's see if my memory is changed with the modern replay of this game. And again, as you can see, this very clean copy, beautiful, beautiful disc, complete in box with the label. And that completes my collection right there of the 20 games. Let's bring up the games list. Let's fill in those 3 games. That's Soul Calibur 2, Simpsons, Road Rage, and the last one, the pièce de résistance, if you will, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Now, we do have to tally up the funds for what that cost us. As you all know, this challenge has been no money out of pocket, but I came into this 15th chapter with plenty of money to spend. I've got my numbers here, just north of $500, and these games cost me in order: Soul Calibur right around $28, Simpsons Road Rage right around $54, but another $350, $370-ish for resurfacing. And then the big one, although shipping, fees, eBay, all that stuff, all in for a really clean copy was $79.85, which is not bad, considering what this game I've seen been going for here in the last couple of weeks to months. All in, all told, when you subtract those 3 games from my available money, I am left sitting here with $334.67. So that's it, right? I'm done. I completed my challenge of collecting my GameCube collection of my childhood for no money out of pocket. For reasons, again, I detail all the way back in Chapter 1. Or am I done? For you see, I gave myself back in Chapter 1 2 goals. Certainly collecting the games, but I gave myself a second goal. Let's actually watch me explain what that was. The second goal is at the end of it, when I'm done with it, I also want to be plus $150. I want that money back, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it at that point. I'm not going to burn it. I'll do something though, something symbolic. So I want to end north at the end of this equation, $150. And so there you go. I have $150 that past me is telling current me I got to spend, and I got to spend it on something symbolic, something important. Well, this whole thing has surrounded family, my wife, my children, bringing kind of my childhood back forward to experience with my girls and my wife through the eyes of GameCube. I think I got an idea of a nice way to spend that final $150. Let's go have some fun. Hey there, wife.
Oh, hi.
I have $150 burning a hole in my Operation GameCube pocket, and the bylaws require that I spend it on something. Do you have any ideas?
Well, I've been often referred to as a thing in my life. Maybe you treat me to a nice dinner.
Well, why
a fancy Coralville classic restaurant we've never, ever gone to before.
And why would I do that?
Well, because you've put up with me for 5 years. I mean, I've put up with you for 5 years.
To the day.
Let's do it.
All right.
Just like you.
Well, it was a little north of 150, but I think it was worth it, right?
Just like they say about me.
It's just a
little expensive, but a little worth it.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Mr. Operation GameCube.
You want to go home and play GameCube games?
That and... We'll just say... Yeah, that.
Yeah, that. All right.